minute to Talkin' Ball. I'm Bobby Burton. He's Jerry Hamilton, and we're talking a little Longhorn football. We're about 36 hours, Jerry, from when the Longhorns will kick off against Arizona State. I'm here in Atlanta, getting ready for tomorrow. We got a big day of stuff going on today. We had a lot of interviews. CJ picked up from different players and coaches earlier today. I hope you guys had a chance to look and listen to those at On Texas Football. Jerry, we even saw a little footage of practice from CJ, so that was really good. We got other things to talk about, including what Tashard Choice said, not only about a future player of his, but also the idea that he's not going to take any running back in the portal, it doesn't look like, wants to roll with what he's got. And then some other topics, Jeff Banks and what he had to say, as well as a number of other coaches and players as well, including on the other side of the equation, with Arizona State and those folks. All right, tonight's show brought to you, as in every Talking Ball episode this year, has been brought to you by our friend John Donovan over at Longhorn Wealth Management Group. Thank you, John, for your ongoing sponsorship of On Texas Football. All right, Jerry, you've listened to a lot of those and talked with folks. What are your thoughts here so far?
Yeah, so Tashard Choice, extremely positive as ever. I just love listening to his interviews. There's a reason the kids and parents love him as a recruiter, and that kind of shined through in that interview today that's posted here on Texas Football. Look, I would say that Trey Weisner, first of all, he said is weighing 202, a little bigger than I think you think. He carries his weight pretty well. Said he wants him to get up to 210 next year, and then he said he's got a chance to be a Sunday player. That's pretty much what he said. And I think that's spot on. Talked about how, he has just become more patient and just seeing it so well right now. And he also mentioned that when Jarrett Gibson gets to that point, he's going to be really good. And just the process for a running back sometimes that maybe we don't talk about enough, maybe that's, underappreciated. Then he also got into Ricky Stewart and James Simon. Compared James Simon in some ways to Jonathan Brooks in terms of a skill set, an overall skill set. Talked about Ricky Stewart, how bad he wanted to be a Texas Longhorn. Said some of the similar things without using Trey Weisner's name. I think there some comparisons as far as mentality, toughness, and you guy keeps getting better the more you give him the football, and how bad he wanted to be a part of the program when he recruited him. So I thought that was all really good stuff from Tashard Choice. Kenny Baker spoke a little bit on his guys, to CJ Vogel as well today. Obviously, he really likes some of the early things he's seen from Justice Terry. I know we have some video there. And then obviously Jeff Banks talked about Bert Auburn coming back next year and that he wants Michael Kern to stick around and probably redshirt and develop next year. And we'll see what Michael Kern does in that regard.
Yes, that was the piece that I was talking about. Jack Bouwmeester is going to be the punter next year for Texas. But Bouwmeester, if you remember, Jerry, when looking at his stats after being a two-time all-conference punter out of Oregon, prior to that, he was averaging 39 yards a punt, not unlike Michael Kern did this year. Yeah. And so maybe that position is one that we can talk about and think about as being a developmental position as well. Sometimes you get guys straight out of the fire and they come hot, but sometimes it takes a little while. So we'll see exactly what that does and what that means as well. All right, we're going to take y'all's questions and comments tonight, as we always do on Talkin' Ball on Monday nights. That's the big deal with us. You guys come with it. We'll answer it, give our best thoughts on it. We may not always know the answer, but we'll at least try to do that. I want to say thank you to our sponsor, John Donovan, president of Longhorn Wealth Management Group. John's a proud Texas Exes Life member whose wife and 6 siblings are also UT grads. This UT family passion is what led John to brand his firm, Longhorn Wealth Management Group, and dedicate it to providing investment, retirement, insurance, and estate planning services and solutions to Longhorn families and friends across the nation for more than 30 years. John wants to wish all the OTF family a blessed and bountiful New Year and a great Christmas holidays as well. John's offering a free 90-minute consultation to help you maximize your wealth, minimize your taxes, and secure your legacy. Simply call John and his team at Longhorn Wealth, 972-707-4900, or go online at www.longhornwealth.net to schedule your free consultation today. Happy holidays. And let's beat the Sun Devils from John and the Longhorn Wealth Management team. All right, Jerry, let's just get straight to it. I had one in here to talk about real quick, if you don't mind. Any good from Jeff Master Bevo? He's been with us a long time. I got to answer this. Any good restaurants downtown Atlanta around College Football Hall of Fame? I just went and ate at Ted's Montana Grill with my wife, Jenny. She and I had a good meal there tonight. That's there. There's one place that we're going to try, I think, tomorrow, and that's called Ray's in the City, and highly recommended to me, called Ray's in the City. It's a seafood / steak restaurant. Give that one a try. Those are the two that I've going to try in this one. All right. Let me ask you this. William Allen says, convince me ASU is not Texas Tech 2013. 2013, Jerry. What year is that? I mean, I don't even know.
I don't remember that game.
I don't either. Let's see. Matt, can you bring that up for us if you don't mind, bud?
While Matt's bringing that up, I failed to mention a couple other things. The funny comment from Arch Manning about okay, there you go. Then yes.
What is that score?
41-16.
Oh, is that when Chris Warren ran like 1,000 yards?
Yeah, let's see
no
for this. Malcolm Brown and Joe Bergeron.
Yeah. Okay. Could be. Only 11 receptions.
Yeah.
They literally just ran it down Texas Tech's throat that night. Boy, those are some names from the past, too. Jackson Shipley. Good stuff. Could be.
Russell Slavin's kid had a 51-yard touchdown. Is that right?
Yes. That's he was the punter for them.
Yeah. But by the way, so the difference there will be score-wise, if that's what you're getting at, the difference there will be that Arizona State will run the football to running backs much more in that game. That was the Baker Mayfield only offense for Tech. Now that I'm thinking about it. Oh, he meant to 2023.
Oh, and I hope so. That would be a little bit different. Thank you for clarifying that. I was trying to understand.
That was 57-7. I can't even go there.
Yeah, maybe Brett if that happens, maybe Brett Yormark will stop showing up when they play in Texas. How about that?
No.
That would put a smile on my face. Appreciate the question, William, and thanks for the clarification, Tracy. I don't know that Arizona State's getting Texas at the right time, nor I think Arizona State 2024 is better than Texas Tech 2023.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I can't say this. I can't say that. Texas Tech in 2023 at times just did not look good as a football team. Arizona State has looked pretty good all season long. They haven't had any real, what I would say, stinkers at this point. So we'll see what that says. Jerry, what do you think, my guy? What do you think of the men's basketball team? Go in there first 6 seconds. Personally, I see 4 losses in a row, I guess, here. What is he talking about?
Well, so the first 5 are what I'm looking at, and we talked about this on the YouTube show and on Texas Basketball. At A&M, who's ranked 13, number 2 Auburn, followed by number 1 Tennessee, followed by at Oklahoma 12, and at undefeated Florida 6. Now, those rankings will change because there's SEC games coming for everybody. But there's a shot that 4 of those teams are ranked in the top 10 and all 5 are in the top 15. Texas could legitimately go 1-4 in those 5 games and play pretty good basketball. But this is really out of the gates going to tell you this whole story for the SEC race for Texas for me. You can play really good defense, and 3 or 4 of these guys are still going to score 72, 75 points on you, probably. Can you score 75 to 80?
So I have not been paying attention to basketball. You know that, Jerry. I've been so eat up with football the last couple months or last couple weeks, really. I had no clue they play 5 straight teams ranked no less than 13th in the country.
And then obviously they get Missouri at home. Then it turns right back around to A&M and at Ole Miss. Hello, Chris Beard. So
and at LSU.
The first 8 games, 7 are going to be against teams ranked. I mean,
Yes.
you could go 2-5 and be playing decent basketball. I mean, like that's the reality. But you're going to know really quick out of the gate here. Can Texas go score 75 points against a really good team? If they can't, it's going to be a struggle in conference play.
Good stuff. Thanks for pulling that up for us, Matt, our producer, pulling that schedule up. That gave you everybody a real view of what is ahead of the Longhorns. Skibrek, is Texas Atlanta putting anything on this weekend? Not this weekend, but tomorrow night. I guess that's what you mean. Tomorrow night, they're going to be back at Botica. Skibrek, you were there last week or a couple weeks ago when we were here for the SEC Championship. It's the same place in Buckhead, and they'll be there from 3 to 6, probably staying until around 7 or so. Please join us. Myself, I think CJ Vogel will be there as well. Come on out. We'll have a good time. Hopefully you guys, anybody and everybody, welcome to join us. The great thing about Texas X's events, I want to say this, they are not strictly for people that graduated or went to Texas. They're open to anybody that sports the Longhorns. Again, that's at Botica, Botica, in Buckhead here in Atlanta. Jerry, this one from Brendan Bowersox. Do y'all think Aaron Butler will have a legit impact for next year production-wise? I am really big on him. Feels like a sneaky, big-time player for us. I'm here to look. I think Aaron Butler could be a player for Texas, but I think the second best receiver in that class right now, outside of Ryan Wingo, is actually Parker Livingstone, and that's why he's getting close to seeing some action, guys. If there's another injury or something goes on, that coaches really like Parker Livingstone right now. Doesn't mean Aaron Butler won't have a place, Jerry, but is Texas going to potentially recruit over Aaron Butler at that smaller skill position receiver? What do you think?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that could happen to Parker too in this last class.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. I mean, with Khalil Lockett and Jamie French. So I think the spring is huge for both of those guys. Like we said last year, spring practice was huge for Jonte Cook and DeAndre Moore. And they had to kind of make up their mark coming out of that spring because they were going to have the first opportunities with all the newcomers coming out. I mean, remember, Sark had Matthew Golden running third team in the spring at times.
Yep.
Isaiah Bond started. Silas Bolden wasn't there. These guys the spring is huge for these guys because they should be ahead of Khalil Lockett and Jamie French, and if Texas and Dalen McCutcheon, who will play behind DeAndre Moore. But then if Texas takes a receiver out of the portal and adds another guy to that, they will have their opportunities in the spring. They have to make the most of them. I mean, once you leave the door crack, you see what happens. I mean, so they're going to have the first opportunities this spring, knowing the offense, being ahead of these incoming freshmen. If they start to lose a little positioning going into August practice, that's probably not a good sign for those guys. So the spring's going to be key for those guys because these Khalil Lockett, Jamie French, very talented guys. And obviously Dale McCutcheon's going to play where DeAndre Moore is. But we'll see if they add anybody in the portal.
This one from Seth Alcozer. Jerry, Cam Scatteroo said nobody can stop him. Are you going to change your prediction after hearing that? Don't be scared.
Well, what I like about Cam is he's like a boxer that's been knocked out and doesn't remember it. I mean, Cam had 18 carries for 60 yards in the loss against Texas Tech. Somebody stopped him. He had 24 for 62 in the 3-point win in San Marcos. San Marcos stopped him. He had 17 for 75 in the loss at Cincinnati. WKRP in Cincinnati stopped him. So he's like look, I respect it. He's like the boxer that never lost a round, never lost a fight. I get it. But he has been stopped before, but it's great to not think you have.
I think it's good because he and Sam Levitt certainly are putting material up on the bulletin board for the Texas defense. I've said this before. I think
that feels like bait to me, Bobby. That feels like bait.
Good. I mean,
linebackers come downhill as fast as possible. We're going to run the screen.
Let's see what happens. Yeah, let's see what happens. I mean, I think Texas is in good shape on defense. The one thing that I don't know that Texas has been out-coached on defense this year. I really don't. The only time I've felt that way maybe is the second half of Georgia game when they weren't ready for a running quarterback. That's maybe the only time this year I felt like the Texas defense may have been out coached. So we'll see if Kenny Dillingham can get that done. Holy Frioli. Texas will be wearing the away team icy whites, correct? That is correct. And that's why when you see some footage this week of Texas's practices, the offense will be in the white and the Texas defense will be in the orange. Usually it's the exact opposite. The offense is in orange during practice and the defense is in white. But this week, this week and a half, they've switched that up. Texas will be in the icy whites on Wednesday afternoon. James Richards, what's y'all's prediction for Georgia Notre Dame? Jerry, I went with Notre Dame, and I know you went the opposite direction.
We have a split decision on who wins this boxing match in New Orleans. I'm going 20-13 Georgia. I think I went like
13-9.
Yeah,
or something like that. I knew it was like it's not that I think Notre Dame's going to score a bunch of points. I think they might score a little bit more than Texas because they got a running quarterback and they've got a downhill rushing attack as opposed to a wide zone rushing attack that Texas really could use against them. And I just don't think I'm not a believer in Gunnar Stockton, and I don't think the Georgia run game is supportive enough. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I absolutely could be wrong, but I went with Notre Dame. Jerry, you went with the Georgia Bulldogs. We'll see. We'll see where that goes. Seth Alcozer again. Wait, wrong one, guys. I'm so sorry about that. This one from Curtis Murray. Do you guys think we see a 5-man front to show a different look to contain Sam and Scatabo? Rod talked about this a little bit when he talked about an odd front. He was thinking about a 3-4 defense where you basically walk up 2 linebackers and go the 3 big down linemen with not only Alfred Collins, but also Jermaine Lole and Bill Norton. And then you put 2 linebackers out on the side and then still have a guy in the middle. It's possible, Curtis, and we'll see where that all ends up. I don't know what they're going to do. And, we'll see what happens. I think the thing that they're going to have to watch for is Sam Leavitt's legs at certain times. Because I think, Jerry, you put this out there. You think that they're going to throw everything at Texas in the kitchen sink, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. Everything to gain. Everything to win. Nothing to lose. I mean, you throw it all out in this game. If you get a game, if you get this big upset, and you get track meted against Oregon or Ohio State, who cares? You beat Texas in a college football playoff. I mean, they're throwing it all in this game. Everything they have that looks good from the sidelines, they're going to throw in this game. I think it'll be interesting from a defensive front. I'm not sure Texas has to do anything different. I think they're going to win up front. But I think what you're going to see Texas do is interior linemen hold the point of attack more so than try to get up the field initially and see if they can make Scatabo run east and west. That's what I think you're going to see Texas do. I think Arizona State wants to see Texas try to get up the field and then just let them push guys out of plays and let them run themselves out of plays and run it right behind them with good vision.
Hopefully, they're hoping that Texas is over-aggressive.
Yes, I think Texas will gap control on the interior and the A and B gaps, or at least early in this game, and see what Scatabo does. Now, could that affect your pass rush? Possibly. But Arizona State's, 23% screen team? And without Jordan Tyson, how much are they really going to try to throw it down the field against the Texas pass rush? Probably won't unless they get down and it's kind of decisions taken out of their hands.
Todd Lacey with a good question here. Who are the unsung heroes you see making a huge impact in this game? Mine, Bill Norton, Jake Majors. I think they will have a huge impact on the game. Who are your choices?
I like Bill Norton and Jermaine Lole in this game.
I like really Lole. I'm going to add Barron Sorrell.
Yeah.
Because somebody has to be defensive ends are going to have to make some one-on-one tackles of Scatabo. They are, Jerry. So I'm going to go with Barron Sorrell. What about on offense? Is it Kelvin Banks, Trevor Gooseby? Is it Gunnar Helm again? Even though he's the team's leading receiver, he can be unsung. Matthew Golden, maybe. Ryan Wingo. What do you think?
I'm going to say DeAndre Moore, and he's going to, he's had a little bit of the drops. He's been open a lot, and he has dropped the ball. I could see him having a big game. Just got to finish the plays.
C-Mac, I don't see a question here with your super chat. If you have one, please let us know, and I'll try to circle back to it if you don't mind. Unless I just missed it, Matt, somewhere. Let us know. Do you have it pulled up? No, you don't. Okay. All right. James, could Matthew Golden, or Silas Bond return? Golden certainly could if he elects to. Bolden, I think, is out of time. I mean,
Isaiah Bond, no.
Bond, not Bolden. My apologies, guys. Isaiah Bond is not coming back. He's going pro.
He's going pro.
All right. MJF, how valuable are the extra weeks of practice each round we advance to the young players down the depth chart? More practices plus 2+ games plan installed, watching starters, preparing for big games. Matt, do you mind putting the video we have of two of the folks that are just now playing for the Longhorns or actually working out? And that is Justice Terry, the defensive lineman out of Manchester, Georgia, and Cole Brevard. The really big guy here is 99. So he's taking Sadir Mitchell's number. The next guy is Justice Terry. That's 98. So they're both working out. Then we also got a chance to see Michael Terry, the wide receiver out of San Antonio, as well as Lance Jackson, the defensive lineman out of Texarkana Pleasant Grove.
Brad Spence.
And Brad. Oh, is Brad Spence working out today too?
Yeah, Stark said he's working out now too.
Okay, I've been traveling all day, so I apologize. That's good stuff. My take on that is we'll see how all this works out, but I love the idea of Texas players getting multiple practices. I always have. The more time they're on a football field where there's something at stake, the better a team becomes.
I'll say this too. What's interesting? By the way, I forgot to mention something because Bijan Robinson's come up in the chat. He was at the team hotel at some point tonight playing ping pong with Jaden Blue and the boys, I think. So Bijan Robinson at the team hotel in Atlanta there obviously plays for the Falcons. But here's the breakdown of this. So let's just say Lance Jackson's already practiced with the team 5 times. If they win this game, don't play again until the 10th, right? What's that, 4 more practices? You're up to 8. If you happen to get to the national championship game and that game's played January 20th, these guys essentially get 2 spring practices. That's a huge deal for Justice Terry, Lance Jackson, Michael Terry, and even Cole Brevard and Brad Spence learning scheme, getting used to the coaching, getting used to the way Texas does things, the locker room, the team. But more importantly, for those young guys, if Texas keeps advancing, these guys are going to essentially get 2 spring practices. That is huge for these kids. Huge.
That's Michael Terry catching the ball there, and he's throwing to Lance Jackson.
Yeah.
Young man out of Pleasant Grove.
That's
both
Christian Clark
looking guys now as far as size-wise for their positions. Jeez. Crazy.
Yeah.
One-handed stab there by Lance Jackson. Good stuff. Hey, Jerry, would Texas want Sam Levitt if he was mortal?
No. But that doesn't mean he's not a really good player. No, but he's a really good player. Look, it wouldn't shock me if Sam Levitt's not in the NFL one day. I think he's a really good player. He's got to get stronger. He's been nicked up this year, missed the Cincinnati game, but he is a really good player. But no, because Arch is not going in the portal. That's another thing that came up today that was so funny. Arch pretty much laughing it off as usual.
Unbelievable. I mean, it will never stop. Todd Lacey, with the redshirt rules the way they are, and most freshmen cannot lose their red shirts, is there any of them who can make an impact in this game, no, none of them will be available. None of them are available according to NCAA rules. They have to be on roster or enrolled at the beginning of the season to continue to play. Daniel Earp, congratulations to an exciting year of OTF. Thank you all so much. This has been a fun ride. Bobby, you have assembled an all-star cast and presented the best content out there. Who's to 2025 and 100,000 subscribers. Man, that would be – Jerry, you said 100,000 about a year ago at this time. You said that's what we're going to get to. Don't know when, but we're going to get there. And it's not just me that's assembled this group. It's Jerry, Rod. Everybody has been a part of it. So thank you all so much, Daniel, and everybody else here. We really do enjoy doing this. And, you know, I just think back to Bob Shipley. You know, today he had his son on, Jordan, on the winning drive, right? This things like that. Blake Monroe's come along, just been awesome for us. CJ Vogel, I think you're seeing him grow up before our very eyes right now and being better and better every time he does it. I watched his video this afternoon about some of the news from the workouts, Jerry, and really thought he did a great job with that. So a lot of really, really positive things going on right now. Rod Babers, of course, is always him. Skibrek, I remember picking the name Coffee and Football. He did do it.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely correct. We had to choose what we were going to call it. That's what we went with. Thanks, Skibrek, for doing that. Nigel Robertson, what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? Taft versus Scattaboo in the open field. Now, I will tell you, I would give Scattaboo the nod in that.
Yeah.
Because Scattaboo looks like he's built like, I don't even know, like 220 pounds of just round muscle.
And if he's running into Taft, then that means he is running with a full head of steam behind him.
Yes.
And that's probably not what Texas wants. That's not the contact they want. They want Anthony Hill and Scattaboo running into each other and seeing who gets up first.
Ooh, Brendan Bowersox with a hot one. Who do you think succeeds Arch? I think Trey Owens will be really good, but love the ceiling of the offense with Lacey or Bell too.
Actually, you know, I have an update. I talked to Dia Bell a little bit today. And I was asking him, you know, because I'm going to go down and see him in probably late February. And I was just making sure he's going to be back. He's back working out. He's in a boot for a while. But maybe late February, early March is when he may get back out and start, you know, throwing it around a little bit. So KJ Lacey playing in the Under Armour game on, was that January 2nd? So get a good look at him at the Under Armour game, one final look before he gets to Texas January 13th. Look, I mean, Trey Owens is going to have a pretty big head start on those guys. And KJ Lacey will be QB3, obviously, in spring. So Trey Owens has a full year head start on those guys. If somebody comes in and, like, if a KJ Lacey comes up in and picks up the system, like, right away, and we start hearing things, we're going to say, okay, that guy's got a probably really bright future, because it's not easy. I don't care if you played for Jeff Kelly at Saraland like he has, and they use some similar some of the similar scheme stuff, because Jeff Kelly's that level offensive coach, former high-level quarterback himself. But Trey Owens has a big head start.
I'm going with Trey Owens. I like the way he tosses the pill. He's a big guy that I think can take contact in the SEC. He's got some sturdiness to him, and I think he's got a little something extra to him, Jerry. I'm not quite sure how to define it yet, but I feel really good about him. Kyle Vachaska, do you think DeAndre Moore's drops are all mental, and what does Chris Jackson do to help him get over that? I don't think the drop against Clemson was mental. I think it was into the sun.
That was into the sun.
Yeah, I mean, now the other ones, yes, I do think they were mental. What does a receivers coach do to help that person get over the drops? He gets out there and he just practices. That's all you can do is repetition. Right, Jerry? Yeah. I will say Sark came back and targeted Moore again really quickly after that. They got him back involved. So coaches know what's up. And I don't think it's just Chris Jackson. I think it's the entire offensive staff around that. You agree with that, Jerry?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I mean, the Georgia game, obviously DeAndre had the rough game before that, but Georgia game, multiple guys dropped the football, and DeAndre had a big drop in the high red zone, or would have been high red zone. That was a big drop for him. The Clemson one, I think that was the Sun, because the Sun was really in players' face. People that were at the game were telling us that in warmups. If you're throwing the ball in that direction, if somebody has to turn and look for it, they're going to have a hard time seeing the football.
I agree. All right, this one from Ryan Riggins. Any chance Justice Terry sees the field similar to Colin Simmons this year? We need the DT help, or is he too small? You can go back and look at that video that Matt played earlier, our producer, and you can tell that he's calling him too small is not the right adjective or right word. He's just not built out enough yet. So this is a 330-pound defensive tackle that you can tell has 4 years in a weight room. The next guy is a guy that's just coming out of high school.
Yeah.
You can see the lower body.
Look at Alfred Collins right there.
That's exactly who that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you run the tape back, look at Alfred Collins' body right here and look at Justice Terry. That's a guy that's 4 years older. So will Justice Terry play next year? Absolutely, he'll play. The question is going to be, where are they going to play him? Is it a 5? Can he play any 3 when it's not the NASCAR package as a freshman? And what does he weigh? Let's just say he weighs between 270 and 275 right now. Can he get to 290, 295? We'll see.
Yeah.
But now Myron Charles is coming in at 315, Josiah Sharman about 320. Those guys are probably going to be a Torrey Becton 315 pounds in August after going through spring and then in the workouts in the summer. If Justice Terry is 290, low 290s, that gives him a chance in the SEC. But it's a physical league on the interior. It's hard to play without size consistently.
Let me ask you this, Jerry. Alessandro Franco wants to know, will this be the game Texas fixes their third quarter woes?
I mean, that's a tough answer. I mean, Texas moved the ball against Clemson, didn't score it. I have told them to try joy mode. I do think Arizona State's going to have issues in this game against Texas defensively. I just do. They've played 3 top 25 ranked offenses this year, and they've given up 30 points on average, 29.7 if we're getting technical points per game. Those top 25 offenses, those teams are Texas State, Texas Tech, and UCF. None of those 3 are as talented or as good as Texas. So I do think Texas is going to score, move the ball, and score the ball in Arizona State as long as they play a relatively clean game. So I do think they're going to score in every quarter of this game. I'll be shocked if they don't.
Bevo Back X says, if we have one 1,000-yard rusher next season, who will it be? We also saw a little bit of Cedric Baxter on the sidelines today, Jerry.
No,
who would be the 1,000-yard rusher for Texas if you had to guess right now? There's just one.
Oh, it's Trey Wisner. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's 27 yards away from it right now.
Yeah.
I agree with Jerry. I think
because look, Cedric Baxter, you just don't know when he's going to be back to the Cedric Baxter that you saw late in freshman year. That may not be in August. That may not be in September. That might not be until mid-season when he kind of gets his feet underneath him, takes hits, gets that confidence back. Because all these guys, anybody that's been through this, you have to get that back and that belief back. And so you just don't know. You just don't know when Cedric Baxter is going to be back to close to where he was prior to the injury. So Trey Wisner is the obvious choice there.
All right, I agree with you. I think he's the obvious choice, and until you know where Baxter is, and that he's increased, not just where he is, but look, I mean, why? Who's to say that Weiser doesn't get the call even over him, based on what the bet? Like I'll tell you right now, Cedric Baxter's a good runner. I don't think he runs the outside zone as well as Trey Wisner does. I think if you're asking somebody to run downhill, he's the answer. But if you're asking Cedric Baxter does not have the kind of patience, or did not show the kind of patience that Trey Wisner has in the outside zone. That's my opinion.
I would like to see him this year to see. That's the thing. I would have loved to see how much improvement he was going to make this year in year 2. I have a feeling he was going to have 1,400 yards.
Yeah, I get it. It's unfortunate what happened. It really is. Seth with another question for us. Thank you, Seth. What defensive package do we see the most if we get up by 3 scores? Big nickel, NASCAR. Man, I hope they don't. I'll say this. I don't want them to go to prevent too much too early and let a quarterback get his mojo. I feel like Texas did that a little bit in the second half against Clemson. Not much, but a little bit. Enough where they didn't kind of press the advantage a little bit on defense. I hope they don't do that, or don't feel a need to pull the reins on defense on Wednesday. I just don't see that, Seth. So I think you'd probably see more. I don't want to say big nickel. I think you go. I think you may see dime. I think you may see NASCAR. May see a bunch of stuff. But with Scatterboo, the thing is, if you don't play them straight up, he can hurt you in the run or pass game. A little, one of those two things. Roger G. Jerry, who are some of your favorite 2026 receivers? What speed guy is Texas targeting in 2026? Chris Stewart out of Shadow Creek down in Pearland, already committed to Longhorns. Jerry, who are some of your favorite receivers, not just in state, but out of state, for people to keep an eye on or look at while we're talking?
Yeah, actually, a little couple of 26 recruiting things that I posted on ontexasfootball.com today. It looks like Texas Junior Day is going to be January 25th. That's what Javian Osborne, the running back from Forney, told me. That's going to be the same date as Notre Dame. A lot of these teams in the playoffs are going to have to come back to January 25th. Even if they lose early, they may just say January 25th for Junior Day. So that's one. 2, Kosi Okpala, the 4-star plus linebacker edge out of Katy Maid Creek High, told me he's going to announce his decision or make a decision late March, probably, or early April. And I think Texas has at least a 50-50 shot. And Texas A&M's the number 2 team there. I think he'll end up at one of those 2 unless something major changes. As far as the wideouts, Naeem Burrows out of the Bowl School in Jacksonville is, I think, fast. And it's track speed that carries over. I think he is, and Texas is on him as much as they can be. Obviously, Florida is going to be tough to beat because Florida's starting to on the come up again. And when they are, Jacksonville and the I-4 corridor and the Tampa become tougher to recruit. So we'll see if Florida follows through this season on their promise. But they got a little more mojo back than they have had in recent years on the recruiting trail. But Naeem Burrows is a guy that Texas really likes. And I'd say of those speed guys, he's probably the one. Now, with that being said, Jalen Lott is a corner or receiver. So you just kind of got to say, where does he end up? If he ended up at receiver, obviously he's one of those guys. But Texas is showing more interest in him as a corner/athlete because Terry Joseph has been more involved in that recruitment. Could that change? Sure. So we'll see. But after that,
he's going to be one of those guys, Jerry, that gets to choose where he plays.
Right.
You agree with that? Yeah. Same as Cade Phillips, same as Michael Terry. He's going to end up being a top 50 or so, top 25 or so player in the country, if not top 10. He's going to choose whether or not he wants to play offense or defense, in my opinion. All right. Any other receivers, Jerry, to mention?
Not speed receivers. I don't know. Caden Finley's a bigger version of DeAndre Moore. DeAndre Moore ran 10.8 in high school. So where does the speed happen? What are we talking? 10.5 guys that run 4.3? Where does but Caden Finley, the son of Jermichael Finley, really good player, but not probably what people would characterize as a speed receiver, even though he's not slow by any means.
Right. I get it. Rick Amber guy, any hint of DJ Campbell's decision on going pro or returning? DJ, I don't think said anything today, but my thought process is if he's a top 3-round pick, I think DJ's got his decision made for him. No. If it's something different than that, then we'll see where that ends up. Mix with Jerry, the secondary thank you for the super chat. The secondary didn't play up to its standards versus Clemson. I think they'll be flying around making plays versus Arizona State. They have something to prove. Yeah, and Sam Levitt gave them a little bulletin board material too, Jerry.
Yeah.
I mean, he really did. And Scatterbo did the same thing on defense, right?
Yeah. I mean, so are they baiting Texas? We'll see. But look, I think Texas secondary is going to play better because Clemson's wideouts are really good, first of all. I mean, best group of wideouts combined with tight end Texas faced this year. And you throw Cade Klubnik onto it. It's the best passing attack, talent-wise, Texas has seen this year. And that's why I think, that's why I think Arizona State will score some points. They're playing better quarterbacks now. And Clemson has far better receivers than Arizona State, especially with Jordan Tyson out. They're not void of talent, but they're not as good as Clemson. But they're playing better quarterbacks now. I think that's worth 7 points a game, maybe 10, because it may be worth 2 drives a game where you score more than what you would think based on the season, who Texas played. But I think the secondary will have a bounce back game for 2 reasons. One, that's a great teaching week for Steve Sarkisian and the staff. You want a playoff game, and you have teaching points and coaching points. And 2, Clemson's wideouts are better than Arizona State's. They have better personnel.
I do think Texas is going to get after the quarterback pretty well too.
And that should happen this week too.
Yeah, Clemson, they got after him pretty good. Should be able to get after Levitt as well if they're not held in by the play action. Edgar Padilla, what Texas offensive weapon could surprise with a breakout performance versus Arizona State? Any chance Amari Niblack makes an impact in the playoffs? Surprise offensive weapons. Like I would take it that maybe Jaden Blue was a surprise breakout against Clemson. I think Trey Weiser went in the number 1 running back, and then Jaden Blue just killed it against Clemson. Any surprises for you? I'm going to go Ryan Wingo. People want it to be Isaiah Bond or somebody like that. I'll go with Ryan Wingo. They used Ryan Wingo really well, I thought, Jerry, against Clemson, and getting him one-on-one matchups. That I just think his size is a problem for people. I really believe that.
I was looking to see Silas Bolden didn't play against Arizona State 2 years ago. I didn't think he did. I was looking back at his game log though.
Maybe Silas Bolden. Maybe with a punt return.
Yeah.
How about that?
Justin, punting's a wash this week. Punting's a wash. Texas has a kicking advantage, by the way.
Justin Yarbrough, I think the play action pass will be just as big as the run game versus ASU. And when will the next get together be? In the Galveston County area. Special thanks to our friends over at Yingling Flight and Faust Distributing for making that get together possible. Not sure yet, Justin, about getting back down that way this year. Well, definitely not this year, but maybe sometime early next year we'll get back down that way. What do you think, Jerry, about the play action pass as big as the run game? Because, look, Arizona State does not rush the passer well. Are they going to need to use the play action even here? Can they get more guys out in the routes for Quinn? What do you think?
I'm very interested to see what Arizona State does because they're low. They only have 21 sacks. They have a low pass rush percentage as far as getting pressure on the quarterback, outside top 100 in the country in both of those categories. They have a real decision to make in this game. They have to get pressure on Quinn. They've seen the tape. They've seen when Texas offense has struggled the most. And now it's done it against Georgia. And they don't have Georgia's personnel. So they'd have to take chances to get pass rush on Texas. Or really just Texas have a bad day and don't pick up the games up front. This is a well-seasoned offensive line now. And they played against really good, talented athletes. Arizona State may have to take some risks. If their 5-man pressure can't get pressure against Quinn, then Arizona State's going to be forced to make the tough decision, Bobby, in this game. Because they can't let Quinn sit back and let the plays develop. That he'll throw for 300 plus if they do.
Yeah, but maybe they take their poison. You know,
they might.
I don't know. We'll see. All right. Thank you to our sponsor, John Donovan, president of Longhorn Wealth Management Group, as we get ready to wrap this up here tonight. Proud UT alum, John has served for 15 years as a Dallas, Texas Exes board member and is now helping lead the build-out of the Collin County, Texas Exes chapter. John wants to encourage all OTF fans in the North Texas area to come join the fun at the Collin County, Texas Exes game watch party at the Brass Tap in Plano on New Year's Day. John will look forward to seeing you all there for what he is predicting will be a 41-16 UT victory. In that celebratory spirit, John is offering all OTF fans the gift of a free 90-minute private consultation to evaluate how a certified financial planner like John can help you identify the best financial strategies and solutions available to jumpstart your 2025 by focusing on maximizing your wealth, minimizing your taxes, and securing your legacy. So simply call John and the Longhorn Wealth team at 972-707-4900 or go online, www.longhornwealth.net. That's 972-707-4900 or go online, www.longhornwealth.net to schedule your free private consultation today. John wishes all OTF fans a happy new year and says, let's beat Arizona State and hook them. Appreciate that, John. A couple more questions we got time for. This one from CMAC Texhorn. How much of Johnny Nanson's knowledge of going against Arizona State last year will help, in your opinion, Jerry? I mean, Arizona beat Arizona State last year.
Yeah.
Didn't have the same quarterback, though.
That's the thing. There's a lot different personnel for this Arizona State team, and it's an amazing coaching job, in my opinion, and just roster construction for them to get to the point where they're at. So, but I think it helps Nanson having scouted them so many times in their screen game. If there's a benefit, it's the screen game because he prepared for it. He probably prepared different defensive looks for it last year at Arizona. I think that's where it's beneficial, is in the screen game. And Kenny Dillingham will know that. So what does he do differently?
This one from Mav12. Do you guys think there will ever be a two-way player for Texas, i.e. Travis Hunter? I never thought there would be a Travis Hunter at anywhere that played, what does he play, 120 snaps a game? That's ridiculous, guys. Yeah. I mean, so my point is, yes, there could be one day. Do I think there will be? No, the odds are against it. Right. Because over the last 40 years, there's been one Travis Hunter. In modern college football era, since 1970 or so, that's 54 years, there's been exactly one Travis Hunter. Even Charles Woodson, he played 5 to 10 plays on offense a game, not 65. Now, maybe Travis Hunter starts a trend, but whether it's for Texas or anywhere, Jerry, you have anything to add?
I'm just trying to think of a player. I mean, it's hard to see. But the other thing is, Texas recruiting at such a high level. I'm not sure they could recruit a player that could be that guy. And they would need to have that guy when you're as talented as Texas is. If you happen to get a Travis Hunter walk through that door, he wouldn't play that many snaps. Would he play 20 on offense and the majority on defense? Maybe. I don't see Texas is so talented right now at so many spots. I don't see anybody coming in taking 40 snaps at a receiver position and 55 at corner. I just don't see that. I could be wrong. Maybe there's a freak out there, but I don't see it.
Jalen Lott. Splendid Daddy. Texas is going to run those chumps over 34-9. All right. Let's not name call yet. Let's wait till Wednesday happens first and foremost, and talk about waiting till Wednesday happens. Ski Breck. What are the Spurs Cowboys going to do if Mercedes-Benz tries to keep Bevo out for the Natty? Obviously, Bevo will not be there tomorrow inside the stadium. I believe that they're going to, if Texas plays in the national championship, Bevo may be outside the stadium hanging out before the game. They'll do something special for Bevo if Texas is back in the national championship game. I don't have any doubt.
Bobby, do you see a scenario?
They will make that.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this: do you see a scenario where if Texas is in the national title game, they do let Bevo in? Now, I can't believe we're having this conversation. How dumb is this?
Yes, it's very dumb, but I don't think there's a way, because I don't think there's enough insurance out there that they can buy. Is the problem.
Because he did almost bludgeon. He almost bludgeoned multiple people, no matter what they think.
Like,
I mean, he was 6
inches. If a Longhorn gores you, you're gored. You know,
yeah.
That's the way that works. I don't know how else to say it. You know, it's.
I mean, he was literally 6 to 8 inches from killing somebody.
Yeah,
I mean that's a pretty bad thing to happen before a national championship game or SEC championship game or college football playoff game.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, I think that is going to do it for tonight's Talkin' Ball, brought to you by our friends over at longhornwealth.net. That's John Donovan and his group at Longhorn Wealth Management Group. Thank you to everyone for the super chats and for joining us again. I can't tell you how excited I am. I'm here in Atlanta waiting with bated breath. I'll be back tomorrow morning, as will Jerry, with our normal coffee and football episode beginning at 8 o'clock, 8:15 tomorrow morning. I'll be at the College Football Hall of Fame set up and going. Steve Sarkisian, by the way, heads to the mic at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Hopefully we can bring you some of that. We'll also have the full availability, media availability posted on Texas Football as well tomorrow. All right, Jerry, you have anything final you want to say before we let folks go tonight?
John is entertaining me in the chat. Please keep coming back. He's doing a good job of trolling tonight. He's entertaining the chat. I appreciate that.
All right. Thanks, Jerry. Thank you, Matthew Hutchison, our producer. We appreciate you very much. You guys have a good night. We'll see you again tomorrow morning. Hook 'em.